Hi guys, it's CyborgMatt here at the Columbus Convention Center for MLG Columbus. I'm joined here by GoDz Parker from Beyond the Summit, who's one of the primary casters here at the event. Hi GoDz, so far we're now coming up towards the end of day 2. We have CyborgMatt playing DK onto our left side here, onto our right, sorry, and we have Fnatic and Team Liquid. These could be the last matches of the day. However, we are on the verge of a tiebreaker, which means that any of those potential teams could still go through. In terms of the teams that I've gone through so far, with it being Team DK and Sigma.int and Na'Vi, are you pretty surprised by that?
No surprises with DK and Na'Vi. Sigma.int, of course, the big surprise of this tournament. I don't think many people expected them to finish top 4. I think they were a true dark horse. Their drafts and it seems very suited to the current version, but actually getting to the top 4 is a big surprise to me. Yeah,
a lot of people are pretty skeptical about the invite for Sigma.int, who replaced Team Dignitas. And it seems that they've basically silenced all the critics. They've smashed out the gate and been a real big surprise. So in terms of that final spot, who do you think is going to take that? Do you think it's Speed Gaming or Fnatic, or who do you think is going to take that one?
I said earlier I think Speed Gaming, but I feel like Speed Gaming have the toughest road to get there. They've got to either beat DK now, which is something unheard of. No team's managed to actually beat DK in the tournament, or they've got to go through the tiebreaks, which requires Fnatic to lose to Liquid, and then they've got to beat Liquid as well as Alliance. So Speed Gaming have the toughest route to get there, but they're definitely a team who I feel is playing the best out of the 3 or 4 teams left. Alliance have just not really shown up at MLG.
Yeah, I completely agree. And here, this is kind of new. Dota 2 has never been at MLG before, and as a first showing, are you pretty impressed with what they've got on display so far?
Yeah, I was at the MLG Full Sail, which was kind of like your small scale, wasn't a main circuit MLG event, so I had a good idea about what MLG do, but this is just taking it to the next level. It's my first MLG main circuit event here for any game, so I'm really impressed. It's been like really great working with MLG. The one thing for me, which is just amazing, Adam Contini, the production guy for Dota 2, the guy who's in our ear, makes our job so easy. Like it's really makes me realize like what it means to be working a big event and how much effort MLG put into actually making these events succeed. These guys work so hard.
That's really good to hear. And then in terms of the production here, with the whole crew from BTS being here, you guys are rotating out. Have you been happy with your workload? Do you find that it's giving you time to interact with the fans, meet up with the teams, and just enjoy the event? Like something you maybe not get to do at other events?
Yeah, it's actually really good here. Having 4 casters for the one stream means we get a lot of downtime. There's only ever 2 of us actually casting a match. The other 2 are either doing maybe some work on the analyst couch, but we get to walk around, we get to talk to fans, and that really to me is the most fun part of the event at times. So other events I've been to, it's like I spend the whole day casting either by myself or with a co-caster. There's no rotation, but MLG makes sure that we get well looked after, not just at the event, but also out of the event. I mean, we've been put up in really nice hotels. Everything here is just really comfortable, really laid back. Have some long, hard working days, but it's done really well.
That's good to hear. And speaking of fans, a lot of people have been commenting on your outfit today. Are you going for the Doctor Who look? Can you confirm that?
It was definitely an inspiration this morning. It wasn't a planned thing before I got here, but I had like enough like pieces that I could actually go for a Doctor Who look. And I was yesterday on Google. I was like, wait, it's the Doctor Who 50th anniversary. I'm gonna try and do my best to do my Doctor Who impression.
Yeah, as a Doctor Who fan, I think you've done a pretty good job there. And so, in terms of pre-Columbus, before we even came here, I mean, what kind of predictions were you looking at for your 1, 2, 3?
My 1, 2, 3 had DK, Na'Vi, and Alliance. Maybe not so much in that order. I think DK for me was just like I've loved this team for the last 2 years. I was hoping for them to go further in TI2, TI3 as well. So it wasn't necessarily a rational thought because they haven't actually played that well the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. But DK and Na'Vi Alliance and Na'Vi goes without saying. These have been the 2 best teams in the world for the last 6 to 12 months. There's no really way to deny that, but MLG Columbus, I feel like this is the first time you can say Alliance are no longer unbeaten. Teams seem to have figured them out, and this is actually kind of a cool sign moving forward for the Dota 2 scene.
So in Sigma with Alliance, do you think, what has been their issue here? Do you think that's basically that they've been taking a more relaxed approach to this event, maybe a kind of cocky attitude almost, like maybe not practicing as much or just putting as much effort behind the scenes?
I think Alliance treat almost every tournament and match very seriously. I don't think it's come down to lack of practice. Maybe lack of preparation somewhere. I think teams prepared for Alliance more than the other way around. At the same time, Alliance, they've somewhat stagnated. They remind me of like LGD China back in TI2, where they figure out a playstyle that works, they keep doing it, they keep on winning, and then finally something clicks, teams figure them out, and once one team figures them out, the others kind of just follow suit, and they just keep dropping games. Like Fnatic and Liquid, all these matches Alliance just couldn't manage to take down.
And you mentioned that even though pre-Columbus you still had DK in your top 3, which is you were kind of one of the only ones, because a lot of the people I spoke to weren't rating DK on 6.79. What's changed with DK at this event? Because they were only at Korea the other week, where they were struggling against Alliance. What's changed at this event?
It's really just clicked for DK, and also I feel like DK do best when they're just thrown into something fresh. I feel like for them, they were versing the same teams week in and week out in the WPC, and for them, I think it just got a bit just flat, and it wasn't new to them. I mean, sure, they versed Alliance in Korea, but that to me was a show match, and I feel like that worked in DK's favor, getting that adjustment towards what the Western teams will play like. For that, they could look at those games, say, well, Western teams, they play a bit different to China. We're going to get used to this, and we're going to come to MLG and really know what to do here, play in a different environment. WPC, I feel like, just got a bit flat for them. They've got such a star-studded roster that you put them against any team in the world, they match up in terms of individual skill. It's just making sure it clicks.
And would you say this sets the precedence of the Eastern scene coming back on now? I mean, after TI3, they were kind of struggling. Obviously, in the build-up to TI3, they didn't really have as many matches on the table as, say, the Western teams. Teams like Na'Vi, Alliance, were all playing almost every day, every weekend at least. And in China, you had the Ace, who was restricting some of the Eastern teams from playing, which kind of hurt their performance at TI3. Do you think the Eastern teams are slowly starting to come back now and can really make a challenge again over here?
I think they're definitely getting stronger, but it's become clear at TI3 that the Western teams, at least the European teams, are better than the Chinese teams. But right now, with DK doing well, and DK, I feel, even in China, are not necessarily the best team. Between like DK, LGD, IG, these teams are trading matches left, right, and center. So there's no clear best team in China. The fact that DK are coming to America and right now undefeated really goes to show that the Chinese teams have the potential to do what they did during TI2, the next international, but they're not there yet. They've still got a lot of ground to cover to actually catch up to these Western teams.
Okay, and looking towards tomorrow, can you see anyone beating DK?
Absolutely. Na'Vi is a team who can look bad throughout a tournament, but they will win when it matters. They will win when they really shouldn't. I mean, looking at TI3, they ended up beating Tongfu when they were behind by a huge, colossal amount. They beat Orange when they were behind by a huge amount. I don't know how Na'Vi does it, but they seem to time and time again just do the impossible when it comes to big tournaments. So without a doubt, I give Na'Vi a good shot against them. I feel like a team like Sigma, they've got some good strategies. DK's got all night to prepare for a team like Sigma. In a best of 3, at most I see DK losing one game to them. I can't see Sigma beating DK in a best of 3. If Alliance squeeze into the playoffs, which they've still got a shot to do, that's also another team that DK could have trouble with.
You say prepare for Sigma. Now, the round robin has been the best of 1 format so far, and Sigma.int have been playing very unpredictable, which has really benefited them and got them through this stage. Now, how do you actually prepare for a team that's so unpredictable like that?
I think a lot of teams just couldn't prepare for this team. They were a last-minute replacement. Only a week or 2 weeks ago, they were announced to replace Dignitas. So teams just didn't really think of them as a threat. Also because they were kind of like the 10th team. They were not meant to be here. So teams, even when they heard that Sigma were coming, probably weren't thinking we've got to study Sigma and figure out what they're going to do. So
once a best of 3 comes into play, do you think that'll be the downfall of Sigma potentially?
No, best of 3 is part of it, but I think more is just the fact that teams have the entire night. Because yesterday it was like, okay, Sigma won, they went 2 wins, 1 loss. So maybe it was just a fluke. They've got a lucky best of 1 win. But after days, teams are going to be like, okay, Sigma are really good. We've got to actually study what they do, study what they like to pick, and you've got 8 games to look at to see how they play.
That's good to hear. And so I'm guessing you're looking forward to the day tomorrow. Do you know what kind of schedule we'll be looking at caster-wise? Do you know what games you have tomorrow? Or?
I believe I'll be casting one of the semifinals with Ben, and I think I'll be casting the finals with LD.
It's good to hear. Now, before I let you go, do you have any shout-outs or anyone you'd like to thank?
Big shout out to all the people over at BTS, our producer Kawa, all the people who work hard there. But more importantly, big shout out to my family at home who love to watch and support me.
All right, thanks, GoDz. And of course, coverage here at MLG Columbus is going to continue throughout the weekend, so stick with us.